Okay, good evening, teacher Lorena. This is the video you asked for the activity number 2, which is about classroom management, about the strategies, the 5 strategies, and the 3 problems. So the problem number 1 can be summarized as the school asks more English use in class, but the students have low level. So what to do? Well, actually, I have some strategies. I don't know if I did well the exercise, the task, but I'm gonna venture and do what I did. Actually, I prepared the slides you're watching, and I'm gonna try to explain them. I'm gonna try to make myself clear. I hope it is the actual task. So, in relation to the problem 1, what to do? Well, first of all, I think it is very important to do the lesson plan, to plan very well the lesson and not improvising, because the students can get lost. I mean, if you don't plan very well what you're gonna do, so maybe you don't get the right instructions or the right words or the right activity to be worked in the class. So it could be, I don't know, could have a little damage for the class. I think a very important point is to give the students clear instructions, and besides talking to them because they have low level, it is a good idea to show them, examples of what they have to do, maybe on the board with the pictures, or maybe with one of the students, yes, in front of the rest. Another thing is to encourage reading. I think that's a good strategy. Maybe to have a reader plan and to use the dictionary in the class. Yes, maybe to widen the contact with English. As well, we can use visual aids as much as possible. I think flashcards is, a good strategy. As you said some, I don't know, videos ago, some tips ago, if they create their own flashcards, it could be a very good idea. But at the end, I think it's a good idea to create some flashcards to explain the vocabulary before the activity. To use some videos as well, it is possible, videos with low level at the end. Maybe, as we cannot start explaining all the class in English, we can use mind maps, specific words to explain some topics. Maybe to talk about things that they like. For example, some students like music in English, with the artist of the moment, or maybe about their family, to talk about their mother, their father, their family in general, or maybe about an idol. Could be in relation to music, in relation to the movies as well. Use gestures. I think it is very important. Non-verbal language. Not only to talk to them, but it is important to, I don't know, I do it. I mime to the students when I'm talking, or I do some gestures with my face, with my hands. So it's a good idea, to give them some other way to understand. To use posters with common questions for the class. I mean, the ones we use for primary schools or for 6th graders, that which has the questions, the normal questions for the kids, like, teacher, how do you say, or all those kinds of questions. And very important is to to have a continuous assessment to identify the strengths and the weaknesses of the students, not just like the exams, but another kind of assessment, not evaluation like to get a grade, but assessment to get their strengths, and reinforce what they need to be reinforced, maybe to show the students vocabulary relating to a specific reading through flashcards, and students can mime the vocabulary, and they can read along with the class some, a book, maybe a reader plan book, projected on the board. Maybe they use a video beam or maybe a big book. Could be a good idea. Another activity or the complement for the one before could be that in groups the teacher gives them a short summary cut into words like flashcards, but not with pictures but with words. So the groups organize, oh sorry, I made a mistake, the groups organize the words and create the summary, they organize the words to create the summary that with the words, with the flashcards. In the groups, they create a summary on their own after creating the one, or after organizing the one the teacher gave them. They can create one on their own, and they can add some pictures to socialize with the rest of the class through a video. Maybe the teacher can record the video, or maybe the students as well, and ask the students how they feel in order to know what they have learned and how they can take more advantage of the activities. Feedback, yes, and assessment, as I already told. Problem 2. A group of 4 students who don't behave always work together. What can I do to make them improve? Well, it happens that they misbehave, and it is not out of the blue, It's because of something, generally home problems. So it is a good idea to talk about them, to listen to them, and maybe you can take them to your side, to the good way. Or it's a good idea as well to talk to their parents, because sometimes it is necessary the intervention of their parents, and that the students know that you are talking to their parents in order to get some improvement on them, on the students. It's a good idea as well to separate them in different parts of the classroom and to give them responsibility. Maybe to make them monitors, like, I don't know, to check homework or to check the materials for the class, or I don't know, could be something like that. And make each one of them work in different groups. Of course, you have to separate them. I think it is necessary, if you are going to scold them, it is a good idea to do it in private. I mean, not in front of the class, because they are going to feel like they need revenge. So they are going to misbehave more than usual. Set in a clear way the classroom rules. It is necessary, very necessary, to set the rules at the beginning of the class. And another idea is to reward their good behavior. If they have good behavior, so you can compliment or you can congratulate them in front of the class. That should be a very good idea. And not to blame the whole class for the specific behavior of those 4 students. And maybe to motivate them. Maybe it is not, it is only boredom, that they feel bored in the class, so they want to misbehave because they are doing nothing, or they understand very quickly, or could be just they are bored. Problem 3. students who hate English don't want to learn or participate in activities. How can I motivate them? Well, first of all, we gotta identify whether the student knows much English, and he doesn't want to learn with me. Maybe another teacher he or she can or she wants, or she doesn't know anything about English. Yes, could be the two extremes. So we can prepare different solution plans. Yes. Another idea is to talk about their preferences, maybe in relation to music. They just like the artist of the moment, maybe like I don't know, Ariana Grande, or I don't know, the other musicians, artists that are famous now. Or about movies. Yes, could be, I don't know, about Marvel or DC Comics movies, which are famous, really famous now. Or another strategy could be to give those students the opportunity to choose some topics to work in class. I mean, if they want to work, I don't know, about social rights, or they want to talk about politics, or I don't know, or sports, could be. So give the opportunity and try to focus the things I need to teach them with those topics that they want. I mean, to relate, for example, the grammatical topic that I need to tell them with the sports or the music. I don't know. Prepare several activities. I mean, to have different activities and different grouping moments. I mean, in one part of the class, it is a good idea that they work in pairs. Another part of the class, it is a good idea that they work as a whole class, and maybe in other moment of the class, it is a good idea that they work individually. So to have several activities, not only one activity the whole class, because they can get bored. Another strategy could be start the lesson in an unusual and funny way. In Unit 3 of Future Learn, I saw one of the teachers, I don't remember the country he was teaching in, and he started speaking Spanish. And it was, like I started thinking, well, that's unusual, but he caught the students' attention, and it was to write a profile, I think, to write their profile. So the students were, attentive to what the teacher said, because he was talking to them in Spanish. So that's a good idea, to start in an unusual way. The students didn't expect the teacher to speak Spanish because he was the English teacher. So that could be, motivating. And another thing is that we shouldn't force students to participate. We have to let them feel the need, or feel that like they want to participate. Yes, and sometimes we just focus. Yeah, I make that mistake too. I'm trying to correct it. To make some emphasis, or to emphasize on grammar, so the students don't think it is relevant. I mean, English in general is not relevant because they are just learning about present simple or present continuous, and they don't think that they will use it in the future. So we need to make it relevant, to make English, not grammar, but English in general relevant, and to make them feel that it is important, to make them realize that it is important to their future, and that it is not only grammar but it is, culture that they are know